Food prepping. It's so important to help you stay on track and be organized so that you don't fall off the wagon by not knowing what you're going to be eating when you get from one meal to the next. This is the most important thing, making sure that you know what you're eating and when. Food prepping. This is probably one of the areas that most people need the most help with. And this is also an area that if you're not planning your food prepping, you're going to fall apart when it comes time to being ready to have your breakfast, lunch, snacks, dinner, and all the things that you want to do in order to get the results that you want to get. So food prepping is one of the most important things in order to help you get the results that you want. So if that's something you want, you must food prep. How do we food prep? It's so simple. What we do here at Better Than Ever is we encourage our Better Than Ever family members to organize themselves one day a week, maybe 2 days a week, but ideally just one day a week. So the particular day that you decide that you want to go shopping and do your groceries and get your fruit and vegetables and items that you want to eat, that is the day that you need to make sure of one thing. Number one, do not go shopping for food on an empty stomach, because this is the time when most people stuff everything up. This is when, you go into the food aisle and you see the chocolates and the biscuits and the lollies and the cakes and all that kind of stuff. And supermarkets do this on purpose to tempt you to buy these items. They put all the healthy stuff right in the areas that you don't even see, or in the middle of the shopping center, so you got to walk the furthest to get there. And they put all the junk food and all the crap in spots as soon as you walk in the front door. So number one, never, ever, ever go shopping for food on an empty stomach. And as we always say, make sure that you never get to a meal hungry and never leave a meal full. Now, if you're following that basic principle of never get to a meal hungry and never leaving a meal full, if you organize your time to get to the supermarket, the health food store, or wherever it is that you go shopping for your food, you never get there on an empty stomach. Ideally, you want to get there on a full stomach, you're alert, you're ready to rock and roll, you've got your shopping list, because that's the other thing. As part of your to-do list, we talk about doing your stop-start list. Maybe one of the start things or lists that you need to do is a shopping list, so that way you're not going shopping for food without a plan. So just like you need to plan your exercise, you need to plan everything else in your day, you need to know what foods you're going to eat. So when you know what you're going to make, you then have to go and buy the ingredients, and you need to know what ingredients you're going to buy. Otherwise, how many times have you gone to the shops, you buy stuff, and then you get home, and all of a sudden, I forgot blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to rush back there again, or whatever you had planned completely fails. And then what you had organized to make for lunch or dinner that day fails. And then you end up getting takeaway and it stuffs everything up. So make sure that you are organized. Get that list, write it down. It's easy. In your phone, you can put it in a notes and you know exactly what you're going to do, and stick to what you say you're going to buy. And make sure there's no junk food, no alcohol, no soft drinks, any of the foods that we say you shouldn't be eating. Make sure they're not on that list. Make sure the only items on your shopping list are the foods that you're actually going to cook with and make. And make sure you've got your herbs and spices and so on as well. So be organized. Make sure your kitchen is organized. Okay, so if you've got junk and crap everywhere and your fridge is all a mess, tidy all that up. Chuck out all the junk out of your fridge and out of the pantry that you don't need. And that's the first way to clear out the crap and get the good stuff into your fridge and into your pantry. That is so important. So that way when you do go to the shop and you come home, you can prep well, because you know that the fridge is not full of garbage. And I don't want you to start thinking, but I don't want to throw it out, because there's starving people in the world and all that kind of stuff. Yes, I know. But you don't need those extra calories. You do not need those extra calories. So if you don't feel comfortable throwing that junk food out, then give it to the homeless or someone that needs it, right? Donate it to charity. Take it in a bucket or a bin or whatever it is that you need to, a freezer bag, and donate it to your local charity. You can get rid of it. You've got to dissociate yourself with food. Remember what we said. Food does not control you. You control food. So you need to, if you want to eliminate the cravings and all that sort of stuff, you've got to get rid of the things that are tempting you. You've got to get rid of those chips and lollies and cakes and biscuits and chocolate and all the things that you know you shouldn't be eating. And you know what you shouldn't have. So there should be no excuses for you not to eat healthy. None whatsoever. So what you've got to be aware of is that you've got to look at the type of foods that you're going to be eating. So the majority of the time, you want to ensure that the foods that you eat either grow on a tree or come out of the ground. The majority of the time. So when you look at your palette of food, make sure that you're not missing out on anything. So you're not missing out on essential vitamins and minerals. So that all foods are important. And depending on whether you're vegan or vegetarian or, whatever you are, you then have to decide what works best for you. But it's very, very important that you're buying organic food and fresh food. So my rule of thumb is I try not to eat too many things that come out of a packet or a tin, and I'd rather eat more foods that come out of the ground or grow on a tree, because I know they're going to be a lot better for me and they're going to have a lot more vitamins and minerals and the things that my body needs, and it's easier for my body to digest those foods. So you want to make sure that you're eating those right foods if you can. So moving forward, you've gone to the supermarket. You've now purchased the foods that you need to bring home. And this is where a lot of people they're done. They just shove it in the fridge or in the pantry, and then there's no preparation at all. And then when it comes time to eating, they're starving. So going back to what we said before, never get to a meal hungry. Always organize your day, plan your day, know when you're going to eat, and organize what you're going to eat. You then have to make sure that you prepare the foods so that when it's time to cook the foods, you've got your veggies diced up and chopped up. You've got all your food items ready to go. You've got all your little containers with all your herbs and spices and all the rest of the stuff. And you're not searching around for things. So what I suggest you do, a great thing is to buy those little Tupperware containers and little snap lock bags and things, that what you can do is put different food items in those containers so you can store them with labels on them in your pantry and in your fridge. So they're easily identifiable and they're easily, you know when you're running out and all that sort of stuff. I mean, technology is moving so fast at the moment. The other day I saw a company that you just tap on the fridge door and it lights up, and it's a glass door and it tells you what's in the fridge, and it'll even alert you because there's a computer on the fridge and it'll tell you when you're running out of certain food items. Now, I know in the very near future we'll all be having fridges and pantries and so on like that, but if you can keep a stock take of what you got, so that way when you know you're running low, you can always go back to the shop and buy some more. It'll do you the biggest favor than buying stuff that you know you shouldn't be eating. So get your little containers, make sure you've got enough to go around, put all your different food items in there, put them in the freezer or in the fridge or in the pantry, wherever they need to be in these areas that you know are there. Organize your fridge, organize your pantry. And then when it comes time for you to cook the foods, you've already got the ingredients ready to rock and roll. So then you just heat up your pan or whatever it is that you're going to do, you put it all together and away you go. Let me give you a quick example of what I do and how easy food prepping is. I like to have the bags of fresh salad ready to go that are pre-washed, and I'll put them in a container. So every day at lunchtime, I have a big fresh salad with baby spinach and rocket lettuce and so on, grated carrot and whatnot. And what I then have to do is I just got a little container with some mixed nuts, raw nuts and seeds. So pumpkin seeds and almonds and so on. The more variety of nuts and seeds and that you have, because they're high in essential fats, the better it is for you. So that's essential fats are good for your hair, good for your skin, good for your cells. It's very, very important to get those in there, right? So you've got a small container with a measurable cup. So I've got a quarter of a cup in a container, and I've got my salad, and all I do is I get that quarter of a cup of mixed nuts and seeds, put in with the salad, and then I get some tuna. Now, sometimes I use tin tuna because it's more convenient, and you can, in certain circumstances, if you know the food source, to use something that is in a tin. Be aware that sometimes if they're in a packet or a tin, they can be high in salts or sugar, so you've got to be aware of that. If you can have the fresh items, so if I could get fresh tuna and chop it all up and put it in there, that'll be better. But sometimes time is a bit of an issue for me because we work back to back, and I'm sure it is for you too if you work busy life and you've got your kids and work and all sorts of things going on in your day, and you might need to revert to a tin of some sort. But try and limit it to just tuna or sardines or something that you can eat healthy with. So tin of tuna, pop it in the salad, mix nuts, mix it all in. I use the oil, the natural oil from the tuna, put it all in there, mix it up, there's lunch. It literally takes me about 2 minutes to make my lunch. It's that simple. And there's times that we're making it, we're still training clients, they're just warming up or doing a bit of cardio, and we're just whipping up that lunch. And it's a healthy, nutritious lunch, lots of fiber, lots of greens, lots of vitamins and minerals, and you just feel fantastic when you're eating healthy like that. Rather than grabbing some takeaway or, like a lot of people do, they don't plan lunch at all, and all of a sudden they're going to go out to the shop or the local takeout place and buy takeaway, and then it makes them feel sluggish in the afternoon. The reason why we're not feeling sluggish is because we're eating foods that are high in energy. So if something is growing, it actually helps you grow. So something like plant-based food that is alive food, it's something that's alive, it helps you live. And you've got to remember that. If it's coming out of a packet or something artificial that someone manufactured and slapped together and had to use trans fats and things to just chuck it all together, that's not good for your body. Your body's going to take that in and look at it and go, what the hell is this? How am I going to digest this? And it's going to take a lot more work for your body to digest that food item. So like I said, I know I harp on about it, but it's so important. Go as fresh and go as organic as you possibly can, because it will make a huge difference to how you're feeling. Remember, 80% of what you look like is what you eat. So if you're not eating the right foods, you could be doing all the exercise in the world and you're wasting your time. So get the food right first. That's the bit that you need to get right first, and that'll make the biggest difference in the type of energy and then workout and results that you want to get in both the short term and the long term. So we've got our containers, we've put our foods in the different containers, we pop them in the fridge and the pantry and everywhere else. Once that's all done, it's so easy because you can then follow a recipe and you can then itemize what you need to eat, make that food item, whatever it might be a chicken dish, a fish dish, whatever it is. And an easy thing to do is make more of it, control your portion sizes. So one of the things that we say is don't let the portion size be any more than the palms of your hands. So you want to make sure that your portion size is the size of the palm of your hand is your protein source, uncooked. So if that's a piece of fish or chicken or meat, that's the size, uncooked, because obviously it's going to reduce in size. And the other side of the plate, which is say an entree size plate, or if it's a main size plate, if you've got bigger hands, is your vegetables and your salad serve. If you stick to that simple rule, and every single meal needs to have some sort of protein in it to give you that feeling of satiety, so a feeling of fullness, so you're not feeling so hungry 2 minutes later. So you want eating nutritionally dense food will keep you fuller for longer. But as we say, don't get to a meal hungry, don't leave a meal full. So every 3 hours, as we mentioned in our 6-in-1 rule, and as we mentioned in our stop-start list. You need to make sure you're eating every 3 to 4 hours or 2 to 3 hours to make sure your energy levels are maintained and make sure your blood sugar level is maintained. We don't want your blood sugar level to drop too low, because if your blood sugar level drops too low, your body's going to start burning muscle for energy, and we don't want that. We want you to be focused on having energy throughout the whole day, and we don't want you to rely on stimulants, like coffee and soft drinks and things like that to get you up, especially mid-morning, mid-afternoon. We want to make sure that your energy levels are consistent. So in food prepping, the best way to do it, and the way we do it, is we do it on a Sunday. We buy our food, we get it all chopped up and ready to go, and we put it all in containers. We make our food, so we make our dinner for the entire week. So what happens with Lucy and I, we eat the same thing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday here at the Better Than Ever studio. And then Friday night, we usually have we have dinner together, and we might have something different, like we might have a pasta dish or something with a bit more carbs, because we know that on Saturday we're going to do a big run and we're going to utilize those carbs. And going back to that 6-in-1 rule, that one bad meal for us is on a Saturday night where we just eat whatever we want. If we feel like junk food, if we feel like going out for dinner, we feel like takeaway, whatever it is, that's what we do. And it makes a massive, massive difference in the results that you're going to get. So the 6-in-1 rule and food prepping go hand in hand. You have to make sure that you're doing both together. 6-in-1 is planning your day, making sure that you're sticking to that 6 good meals throughout the day, 6 good days, and then you can have one not bad meal. Then when you know that, you prepare your food, you get just the items that you're going to eat based on the foods that you're going to have and the meals that you're going to prepare, and away you go. If you do that, I guarantee the results you'll get will be absolutely phenomenal, based on that 80% rule that food is what helps you get the results that you want. Food is 80% of what you're going to look like. Exercise only 20%. Results start here. Everybody deserves to be better than ever.